Welcome to a new video, which is the second part of Trigonometric Identities topic. In this video, I'll be focusing on simplifying trigonometric expressions using identities. Without further ado, let's get started. We already learned our formulas in our first video. In this video, I'll be solving some questions about simplifying trigonometric expressions. And this is our first example. And in the example, it says cosecant square x minus cotangent square x divided by cosine x is equal to what? As we learned before, cosecant is, guys, 1 divided by sine x, right? So if you take the square of this, of course, it's going to be 1 divided by sine square x. And once you put it here, then we're going to have, guys, 1 divided by sine square x minus cotangent was cosine divided by sine. So if you take the square of it, then we're going to have cosine square x divided by sine square x, guys. And we need to divide this also by cosine x. So this is equal to, guys, and in the numerator, as we see, we have a fraction and the denominators are same. So this is going to be equal to 1 minus cosine square x divided by sine square x divided by cosine x, guys. We all know that sine square x plus cosine square x is 1, guys. So if you want to find out the value of sine square x, just send this to the right side. It's going to be 1 minus cosine square x. So basically this denominator is actually sine square x. So from here, guys, we're going to have sine square x divided by sine square x divided by cosine x. And here we have 1 divided by 1, which is 1, right? So the result is going to be 1 divided by cosine x, which is secant x, guys. This is one way, actually. And there is another way, which is the shorter way, actually. There was another identity, guys. If you remember, it was cosecant square x is equal to, guys, 1 plus cotangent square x. So if you put this information here, right over here, then cotangent square values will be going away. We're going to have 1 in the numerator, so the question becomes 1 divided by cosine x, and this is secant x, guys. As you can see, this is much more shorter, but I just wanted to show you a general way. Let's say, suppose that you forgot this identity. If you forgot this identity, then this is the way that you can solve this question, guys. But of course, the second way is much more easier than the first one. And this is our next question, guys. In this question, we have sine square x plus 2 cosine square x minus 1 divided by cosine square x minus sine square x plus 1, and that is equal to what, guys? Here, what I'm going to do is we have 2 cosine square x here, right? So I'm going to write it as 1 cosine square x plus 1 cosine square x. And once we do it, we're going to have sine square x plus 1 cosine square x plus another cosine square x minus 1 divided by, and in the denominator we have 1 here, right? We all know that sine square x plus, actually let me write it here, sine square x plus cosine square x is 1. So instead of this 1, I'm gonna put this identity, guys, which is sine square x plus cosine square x. And once we do it, we're gonna have, let me write the first 2 terms first. So here we have cosine square x minus sine square x plus, instead of 1, I'm going to be writing sine square x plus cosine square x. Sine square x plus cosine square x. And in the numerator, guys, we have here sine square x plus cosine square x, and that is equal to 1, guys, right? Because I already put this identity here, so this part is 1. There is also a negative 1 here, right? This negative 1 goes with this positive 1. And in the numerator, we have just cosine square x left over. So in the next step, I'm going to write just cosine square x in the numerator. And in the denominator, guys, we have here negative sine square x, here positive sine square x. So those will be gone also. And the leftovers are, here we have 1 cosine square x and here another cosine square x. So if you add them up, then we have 2 times cosine square x, guys. And in the next step, I have cosine square x in the numerator. I have cosine square x in the denominator, so we can just cross them out, and the leftover is 1 divided by 2, guys. So in this question, the answer is 1 divided by 2. And our next question is this, guys. Cosine square x minus 1 divided by sine square x is equal to what, guys? And again, instead of this 1, I'm going to put sine square x plus cosine square x. And once you do it, we're going to have cosine square x minus, in the parentheses, guys, sine square x plus cosine square x divided by, in the denominator, we have sine square x, guys. If you distribute this negative, okay, into the parentheses, then we're going to have negative sine square x, negative cosine square x. And that negative cosine square x will be going away with this positive cosine square x, okay? So we can cross them out, and the leftover is, in the numerator, we're going to have negative sine square x divided by, in the denominator, we have sine square x. And as you can see, we have same terms, and we can just cross them out, and the leftover is negative 1 divided by positive 1, which is negative 1, guys. So the answer is negative 1 in this question. And this is our last question, guys, in this video. We have secant square x minus tangent square x, that is equal to what, guys? By using the identity, it's very easy to solve this, guys. As I showed you before, secant square x can be written as, actually let me write it here, secant square x is, guys, 1 plus tangent square x, right? So if you plug this in here, then we're going to have 1 plus tangent square x minus tangent square x. This is equal to, guys, this negative goes with this positive, and the leftover is 1. And as you can see, it's very easy to solve this question. But suppose that you forgot this identity and you cannot remember it. So is there another way to solve this question, guys? I'll show you the second way to solve this question. Instead of secant x here, guys, what you can do is, if you remember, secant was what? 1 divided by cosine, right? And if you take the square of it, then we're going to have 1 divided by cosine square x. So we have 1 divided by cosine square x minus, guys. Instead of tangent square, tangent was sine divided by cosine. And if you take the square of it, then we're going to have sine square divided by cosine square. So we have sine square x divided by cosine square x. And in the next step, as you can see, the denominators are the same, so we can just subtract the numerators. And once you do it, we're going to have 1 minus sine square x divided by cosine square x. And we all know that sine square x plus cosine square x, that is equal to 1, guys. So if you take this cosine square x, okay, and if you send this sine square x to the right side, then we're going to have cosine square x is equal to 1 minus, on the left it was positive sine square x, and once you send it to the right side, it's going to be negative sine square x. For the people who don't know what I did here, I recommend you to take a look at one of my previous videos about shortcuts in calculations. Anyway, so here, guys, in the denominator part, I can just put 1 minus sine square x. And once you do it, numerators and denominators will be same. So it's going to be 1 minus sine square x divided by 1 minus sine square x. And you can easily cross the numerators and denominators. Cross them out. And the leftover is 1, guys. 1 divided by 1, it's going to be 1. And as you can see, you can also solve this question in case of forgetting this identity, which is very important, guys. As you can see, if you just remember this, then the question becomes much more easier. But if you forget it, then of course there is also another way like this to solve the problem. And this question was our last question, guys, in this video. If you have any question, you can put them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.